My name is Lecturer Kilaji, Bishop Kenya, Michael Loltome speaking in Kenya Republic, Nairobi National Government, Embakasi East Constituency. Today morning devotion I want to share with all of you human beings living in Kenya and beyond. And we want to zero in with the word opposition, and that's our topic today. And I want also you to know a bit of who I am. I'm a lecturer at Klaji. I said it because I've taught so many colleges. That is African Inland Church beside Bible College, Narrow County Government, and Covenant College of School of Mission International College, Narrow County Government, which is offering systematic Christianity, theology, and Islamic studies. And I've also taught, an official force equivalent to Kenya Army at Utawala College, Nairobi National Government, as a civilian spiritual affairs instructor for 12 years. All right, so that is me, briefly. And I want to see the word of God from the book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, verse 7. And it read like this: I also said to him, if it pleases the king, may I have a letter to the governor of Trans-Euphrates, so they will provide me safe conduct until I arrived in Judah. We are learning here why was Sanballat and Tobias opposed the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Alright, and we want to also see that one. We are now seeing that a request is done there. But if you read it randomly again, chapter 2, verse 10, it read also like this one: when Sanballat the Horonites and Tobias the Ammonite official heard about this, they were very much disturbed that someone had come to promote the welfare of the Israelites. 19 again randomly. But when Sanballat the Horonites, Tobias the Ammonites, officials and Geshem the Arab heard about it, they mocked and ridiculed us. What is this you are doing? They asked, are you rebelling against the king? This book, we read it because if you have ever been faced with a overwhelming task or felt inadequate to meet a challenge, you need to read this book to identify with what Prophet Nehemiah experienced here. Alright? He struggled with issues that day that motivated him a lot, and sometimes also caused a fatigue because of opposition of these two leaders called Sanballat and Tobias in rebuilding the temple, and then criticisms at the same time. So Nehemiah actually shows how they tackle God's difficult assignments and survive both oppositions and apathy that time. And we believe that this book was written by Ezra, the writer of Ezra, which compiled Nehemiah, who we also think as theologian, he wrote actually 1st and 2nd Chronicles. So he knew from Nehemiah memos and from census records, and that's why he wrote what we are reading now about the position of the temple that time, or leadership. So the Babylonians also conquered Israel that time, about 586. Persia in turn conquered Babylonian or Iraq, 539 before Jesus' birth, and later allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem. By 445 before Jesus was born. And the challenge of the rebuilding their homeland, they demoralized, actually resulted in now that kind of opposition done by Sanballat and Tobias. So why was Sanballat Tobias opposed the rebuilding of Jerusalem, which was in the devastations, but God also restored Israel to go back to rebuild the temple. Sanballat, we are told in chapter 2 of Nehemiah 10 and 19 verses, Sanballat was probably the governor of Samaria, the region immediately to the north of Jerusalem, and Tobiah probably the governor of Ammon, and the region just to the east of the Jerusalem that time, across the Jordan, River was most likely Sanballat's friend and business partners. Although Sanballat's friend and business partner, although under the thumb of the Persians, these men became rich and powerful, exercising control over Jerusalem and the inhabitants. Most likely they did not appreciate someone else moving in on that territory of Jerusalem that time. We are seeing they have been benefiting a lot to Sanballat before now Israel, these captives of Israelite came in from which has been actually in Iraq, which was Babylonian, and some are also from Persia. Now they went back, but they found that place. There are two men who have been benefiting on the expense of others, human beings there. And they did not want them to come and, open the eyes of those human beings. So opposition is there. Okay? And that kind of a project actually, which is reported here, is actually a very nice one. Like annual development project programs now, for example, like Kenya. But some people are benefiting, our leaders like politicians, they're benefiting out of our taxpayers' money. And whenever now a new person comes who has a clean record like me now want to fire for the presidency, come 2027 elections, together with my vice president, the retired Kenya Army, who was in charge of brigades and battalion band, Honorable Gogobo Wanyonyi Jeremiah, and my first lady, who is also a leader, which I'm going to marry very soon, the Supreme People's Power President, youngest daughter, and that is we need immigrant Raila Amolo Odinga to be my first lady come 2027 elections. He has masters in political science. He's also a leader of East Africa Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament, and is the daughter of a royal family, the first Kenya president. His grandfather was Jaramogi, His Excellency Jaramogi Oginga, and his father now is Supreme People's Power President, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga. So I am now going to win that election by far. It's only me now is a challenge to the president. That is Dr. William Samoei Ruto, leadership. Everybody is actually seeing that I will defeat him Sambili na nusu hivi. Hawezi kufika saa 3 kabla our president to go home. I was also for the Kenya Secretary General of Marsabit in 1992 multi-party elections, and the president of that party for Kenya was none other than the first Kenya Vice President, His Excellency Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. That actually I was representing when we knew Imga Raila Amolo Odinga Honorable was about 2 years, and I want now to marry her at this time. So I believe God is going to, to restore the work of my hand, because I've lost so many even items of my also partly health and human beings also. In that case, we have lost a lot of animals during that multi-partism election of 1992, whereby we have scrapped off, clause 2A and allow multi-partism now of this democracy. So opposition is there, and whenever there is opposition, it has some challenges because a war can come in, and that's why I wrote to the president, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, to give him a peace book on this kind of a peace book, which of course, I being the chairman of Kamatusa since 2000 to 2023. Kamatusa mean Kalenjin, Maasai, Turkana, Samburu, and Luo tribe. And we call it Kamatusa, Nilotic, the most, well distinguished Nilotic group. But that's not the only one. We have also Tezos and so many others. But this one are the major one in politics. Kamatusa tribes plus Luo tribe, Nilotic. I'm surprised the kind of election now we are heading to, 2027, it is versus Nilotic versus Gema Bantus. Alright? And then, now other votes will now be, very few votes now will come from Kushites. So these two blocks now fighting each other. In Kenya, I want the United Nations to know, because, Tutsis and Hutus brought a lot of problem to Burundi and Rwanda, and we are heading toward that direction in Kenya Republic politics. Alright, I am the chairman of Kamatusa. This is Kalenjin, Maasai, Turkana, Samburu, and also Luo, and they have accepted me to be their chairman that time when I was President Moi Pastor. Alright, and I was also Jaramogi Odinga, His Excellencies, both of them, for the Kenya Secretary General Marsabit. So since they saw that I was, a kind of a person who was healing, both groups, in that kind of politics, opposition and government, they recognized me, and each leader among them wanted me. So I am a peace lover guy, and I used to heal such kind of scenarios. God has given me wisdom and understanding, because I've taken both Islamic and Christianity theology. I have a degree on both. I was a graduate of Kapsa College 204, 4 years program, Kenya. I've also taken a lot of years also at Vision International University, Ramona, California, which was an affiliate campus here in Kenya, Ilemuru campus affiliate, and I graduated 204. And prior to that, I took also a degree of independent learners undercover Islamic studies degree level from Columbia International University, and I completed degree level. So I understand both Christianity, terrorist theology, and Islamic also terrorist theology. And politics, because politics is a terrorist kind of a thing. Because people are planning sometimes to kill people. People are also planning to harm others. People are outwitting each other in kind of deceptions. So I am an expert in RPP, religious, political, philosophy, context, politics. So I wrote the president, and also on 5th, I gave this book, July 2023. I gave also the Supreme People's Power President. They are both Nilotes, and they have accepted the peace. They have now they have now come together. The Supreme People's Power President and also the President, Dr. William Samarito, all of them doctors, because even His Excellency Dr. Raila Odinga is an engineer. He's also a doctor in that profession. So I was surprised to see now we are heading towards Rwanda kind of politics, and Burundi, which has cleared so many people in 1990s, thereabout, early and late 1990s, until the pastor like me, Pastor Kagame of SDA, restored them to normalcy of peace, love, and unity up to today. Otherwise, the country was ravaged to become ashes that time by people who are not God-fearing leaders, as reported in Proverbs 29 verse 2. It is now recurring in Kenya again. That genocide is coming, God forbid. Because now you see even the Supreme People's Powers President is differing with his Vice President or Deputy President, Karua, Honorable Karua, on Dialogue Team Report. You can see it here. Alright? You can see it here. They are now differing. And also, the other day, we saw also the retired president, who is actually Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, with other Ngema or Bantus and Ngema, Embu, and Gikuyu, and other Bantus like Baluya, Eugene Wamalwa, Kalonzo Musyoka, our first, the vice president also, not first, but he has served us 10 years as a vice president, and he has done nothing during President Kibaki era. And they are both Kikuyus. Even Kalonzo Musyoka is a Kikuyu. His father was actually known as James Gichuru. He's a minister of Kenyatta and Moi as well. James Gichuru was a minister. The father of our president, our vice president, formerly called Kalonzo Musyoka. Mama yake ndio Mkamba bwana. The mother of His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka is a Kamba. So we normally value the blood of a father more than a woman. So it's a Kikuyu. We saw them now converging together in a kind of a secret kind of a meeting. Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, whose father was actually vice president, and he went also to rule us with nothingness kind of a help, even from his father, and himself also being a ministerial portfolio for many years. We also Mother Karua was also a leader before, and many others, Jubilee, Kioni, Honorable Kioni, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta. They are now converging, calling themselves Ngema, Bantus. They want to come back to rule us by force. And now Supreme People's Power President and Dr. William Samarito, all Nilotes, together with me, we had one. And they are now, our president said he's ready to give me to be the president. Nilotic group again. Because Kikuyus, Bantus have been 3 presidents, 3 Kikuyus. And it's not our problem that they have not shared with the other group of Bantus that kind of a seat. So we want also ourselves to have now 3 and even more presidential aspirants and president to lead Kenya, like me now, which is people are expecting highly. Alright, both Kikuyus. Because my family has Kikuyus, my younger brother is married to a Kikuyu. Okay, here from Kiambu, Maura's daughter. And so Kikuyus now want to, they like me. I want also myself to marry President, People's Power President, Raila Amolo Odinga daughter. I said it. Honorable Imgat Raila Amolo, we need Imgat Raila Amolo Odinga. So I will have myself now all Kikuyus, all Luo, all Urias, all pastorals in that case, Samburus and Mazais and call them Poko Turkana, Kalinchin. So that's why now even the president, Dr. William Samarito said, I will not fight for the presidency. Come to the 7 elections. He will let me to continue. But even now they have jealousy of that kind of an issue. But I am telling them, I have also a very able man, brigadier, retired brigadier of Aluya, Bukusu warrior. Brigadier Gugubo is going to be my vice president. So I will also have, Aluyas. So I just want to tell our retired president, Madakarwa, vice president now of Asimio, or DM, and Yugini Wamalwa, and Kioni, to keep off practicing what we call actually a kind of a politics, which is heading toward Nilotic versus Bantus, because we are going to fight in this country terribly. And they are going to be the losers, no doubt. I am 100% sure. They are not all like us. Nilotic people are all like Samburus, Mazais, the Kalenjins, Turkanas, Bokot, Warriors. There's the Somalis, Borans, because we are just teaming to be one. And that's the kind of politics that with us. Tutapika watu mbaya sana kama watu wanataka kujitenga kusema sisi ni Bantus. Tutaumia vibaya sana, watu wataumia. And we don't want to kill people like Rwanda and Burundi. So I don't want them to create a kind of a problem which is not there. And I want our president, the retired president, Uhuru Kenyatta, Mada Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, Kalonzo Musyoka, okay, particularly Kioni and Wajakoya, Aluya, alright? Whether I'm told is Aluya, I don't know. So I just want them to know that peace is very essential in Kenya. And what is peace? I want them to know before it is too late for them, because they will be answerable in my government. Those leaders I have mentioned, retired Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta, Mada Karua, they are all His Excellencies, Wajakoya, Kioni Jeremiah, alright? And Wajakoya, alright? And Mada Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka, and Eugene Wamalwa, those leaders, to take care. I am watching them very keenly, the way they are behaving, because they are dragging the country into a very terrible war. Alright? So let them know what is peace. I want them to know what is peace. So many people strive for one thing that is more than any other. I'm directing this message to these those leaders I've mentioned. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, Mada Karua, Jeremiah Kioni, Wajakoya, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Eugene Wamalwa. Let them know what I'm saying. Otherwise, wapukane na kamba ya Saddam Hussein. If anything happen again, like post-election volume of 2007 and I win elections, those human beings will be in problems. So, what is peace? So many people strive for one thing more than any other, peace. Peace, and that is actually, we need peace because it is actually something we need to last for so many times. Because only when we have peace, we have freedom in our lives. And also, that is the only time we can settle properly. Because if there's no peace, we will be unsettled. And the Bible defined peace as psychological peace, which is within human beings, and relational peace, which is harmony among communities or humanity, and spiritual peace, which is also between God and man spiritually, and there is also impact of war. Alright? And we want this retired president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, those leaders I mentioned, to bring back 2027 elections, which they have rigged, honestly speaking, because it will actually, there will be a problem if I will win elections. Hakuna mambo ya kusema tunaenda hega manini, watapata kamba direct penalty, death penalty kabisa, capital death penalty. And if they don't know that priests can kill human beings, let them read actually 1 Samuel chapter 15, 32 and 33. Alright? Even Prophet Samuel killed Agag king was cleared so many Israel. And we cannot keep on allowing people who have been on their fathers have been on seats to bring us back again, recurring post-election violence of 2007 and 2008. There is nothing like UN, neither United Nations anymore. Kitu na hitu ambayo tunaenda Hague. No, tutamaliziana kesi hapa. Hapa. Na tutaweka watu kamba kabisa. Ama kutubia maji kama Jonah. Waende Indian Ocean kabisa. So, I want them to know what are the advantages of war. Those leaders have mentioned. Because now they are sleepless. They are creating what we call Nilotes Versus Bantus kind of politics, which will create a very terrible kind of civil war. I want them to know that there are many things involved in a war. One of them, normally, people will have debts because there will be no money, there will be no peace, there will be no love, there will be war completely, there will be a lot of debt, sadness because of that will come also. And as a result of that, love will not be there. Money will not be there all at the same time. People will be looting places. People will be killing each other. People will be maimed or crippled. Many properties will be, destroyed. A lot of rape will take place. Sodomy will take place. And so many other things. Loss of properties. People kidnapped. And anything of that nature. We don't want that kind of politics to recur again in Kenya. And they work and destroy communities and families. You will see that there will be no communities in Kenya called certain names. They will be fleeing to other countries. Alright? Because of war. Kenya have never experienced war, but now our retired president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Bantus, together with his Bantu leaders, the one I've mentioned, they are planning to stage a kind of a movement of Mungikis, youths, to fight again like 2007 elections. And theirs have no weapons. Ours have weapons. Nimeeleza ours. Sisi tuko na bunduki kubwa sana. Na serikali hawezi kututoa kabisa. We are along the border of Kenya and Ethiopia. Alright. And those countries have guns. And we are also bordering South Sudan in some part of the area. And even Uganda. And they have guns. Garamajong and so many other countries. We cannot allow the sons of wealthy people who are in army and police to come and kupiga watoto wa maskini. Sisi tumekuwa na punduki tangu wakati ya Uhuru Kenyatta, sio hata Uhuru, sio hata Moi, na tuko naye mpaka wa leo. Na hakuna mtu anaweza kututoa hata kama ni nani. Hata kama Kindiki, hata kama ni nani. Atoa amri. Hata kama ni mkubwa ya jeshi. Prezo Ogola. Cannot actually do that. Hawezi kutudisam. I'm 100% sure. Hawezi. Hata Koome. Japhet Koome, inspector of police. Hawezi. Wacha Kindiki ambaye ni mzee ya Meru tu. Ambaye anatembea tu kama sisi. Ajua hata kupiga bunduki. Hata General Prezo Ogola cannot disarm us. Okay? So the effect of war in that case can destroy communities and disrupt local development and social and economic fabric of our nations. And that's what actually Bantus want to bring in. And that's why now I've written this peace book to the president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to know this. And even, I want even the United Nations to know this, because anything can happen in this country. It can be no longer Kenya if these people are now planning what I'm saying. I've given this peace book on 4th to the Supreme People's Power President, Raila Amolo Odinga. Alright? And on 5th, I've given to the executive of the president, Harambee House. Okay? Except also of the president, and it is here. They have signed it. Yuko hapa wamesign. Wamepokea. Eh? I asked them even to give us money so that we can facilitate peace and love and unity in the country. Particularly those of us who are armed, huh? To tell our people not to misuse guns, but to wait any eventuality of any kind of a problem, like what I mentioned. People provoking people to fight. Then we have to defend ourselves. That is Nehemiah 4:9. We need to post a guard and protect ourselves and pray. Alright. Na hata tunaweza kuwa watu kabisa kama vile Prophet Samuel did to King of Agag, who the king of Israel called Saul refused to kill. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 32 and 33. So we will not hesitate, even we priests, to take guns na kushoot watu kabisa ambao wanataka kuwa watu ama kuleta vita ya 2007 and 2028 elections. We are ready. But remember, I want the United Nations to know that there are leaders like retired President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who is planning this kind of a thing. There is also Mother Karua, who is now as Mio Vice President. Alright. There is also Gioni Kanu, Secretary General. Eugene Wamalwa was defeated even to be the Minister of Defense. Okay, his father was Vice President. Kalonzo Musyoka was a former Vice President. Okay, they're all Kikuyus, most of them. And Bantu, one or two, and two Luyas. These are the, and Wajakoya, a kind of a policeman who was defeated actually to run police, docket, being an inspector of police, and yana being now anatoa ambia vijana wakunye wavute bangi. I don't know what kind of a president is that. Okay? Tunashangaa bwana. Na unaona mtu anatembea anasema nataka kuwa president. Maendeleo yako ni kupatia watoto bangi. Mambo so shameful kind of a behavior. Now Eugene Wamalwa anafukuzwa na polisi akiwa defense minister wakati mwingine. Before that, nafukuzwa na polisi na maji. Unaoshwa na polisi na gari ya maji na unatoroka. Ngaizeri naosha hawa na wanatoroka na maji. Gari ya polisi magia maji na wanatoroka nasema, tumetoka vita. Oh, tumekula, what do you call it, tear gas. Tumetoka vita. Wataona vita. Mungu ayepushe sisi. Kwa sababu wanatafuta na watapata kama vile Amazi wametafuta vita na wamepata. Mambio waendelea kuplan sasa. Every day unaona Bantus wanakutana. Recently Kalonzo went to Meru, to Central. We want to team up Ngema. Ho. Na anafukuzwa na maji. Kalonzo Musyoka, dunia yote anaona, the whole world. A person who is water boozers is chasing him, and he's going to be a president of Kenya. Suppose now we are attacking him by Al-Shabaab. We don't such kind of human beings. We want actually brave and courageous leaders, like what actually stipulated in Joshua 1:9 in the Bible. When Moses gave actually his mantle of leadership, presidency, kingship obvious, to Joshua, he told him to be brave and courageous. Atitaka mtu anaoshwa na gari ya water boozer na anatoroka na anasema, nimetoka vita. Kenya have never experienced fighting, but now Ngema. There's Nilotes Ngema, Kikuyu, Zembu, Meru, and Waluya, some of the sections, and Luyas, and Kamba, and they're all Merus, and there's no, we cannot say even Kamba, there's no Kamba. Kalonzo is not a Mukamba bwana. Wakamba hako ndani maneno kabisa. Kabisa. There's a Kikuyus, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Mother Karua Kikuyu, Kioni Kikuyu, Kalonzo Kikuyu, and these two other Waluyas, Wajakoya, na Eugene Wamalwa. These are the people who want to stage a very terrible kind of war in Kenya. And I want the United Nations Security Council not today to know that there's a war coming, imminent war coming. Because now Supreme People's Power President have united with the government to be one. They are Nilotes, and I am also with them. Yes. Alright? To defend that kind of a seat. Because now Ruto is ready to give me that seat. Because I wanted actually to be in party primaries. But Kikuyu refuses the president. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, retired president, refuses to be in Jubilee. Jubilee ilikuwa ni kama nyumba tu yake mwenyewe bwana. It's not a party. It's just like a family affair. We are sorry to say that. Kumbe alikuwa tu katika nyumba ya mtu. Anafunga mlango na anasema usiingie after finishing 10 years. Na alikuwa naomba kura hapa mbele ya nyumba yangu. So what do I want to say? I want the United Nations to know Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, alright, and United Nations Karim Khan, prosecutor of ICC, International Criminal Court of Justice, to know there is a war coming in Kenya, God forbid, between Nilotes and Bantus, which is staged by the people I've mentioned. Alright? Which is going to be staged. And do not actually marvel to see that we are going to take a very terrible repercussions against those human beings. To stop that kind of behaviors, to recur again in Kenya, like 2007 elections and 2008 elections. I was teaching paramilitary general service unit as the spiritual affairs civilians instructor. Alright? For those days. I was also attacked in this house, which I'm now living, which was reported now, even partly by them, by the general service unit, because I was their pastor. But now they have their own pastors. I was a civilian pastor helping them, because I know both theologies, Christianity terrorist theology and Islamic studies. I have degree. And I was nearly to be attacked. To be killed completely because of my family here. And the paramilitary general service renovated the house, and also myself renovated it partly. And it's now mine. I told them, the government, that I have not been paid my money by African Church when I was teaching the pastors and, doing the, Christian education coordination here in Nairobi as the coordinator, and also working in government for 12 years, paramilitary general service unit. They have not paid me my dues, like pensions. And they can contact even the inspectors of that time. One of them is Inspector Chebi, who is now in Mombasa. Alright? He told me the other day, I called him. They told me they will consider to send me some money. I don't know how, because he has retired now. Alright? So, what do I want to say? And one of my colleagues also, when we were teaching paramilitary general service unit, died a mysterious death. Pastor Gitao, Samuel Gitao. So, what do I want to say? I want to United Nations to know this. That there is people who are